2.
Utah, give me 2.
2. 22. 22. Live and uncensored. How about that, Phil? That's right. This is so exciting. Yes.
Whoa.
I feel the love, the excitement. It's a new day. I'm starting my new year today. Happy New Year to me on 2/22/22. Phil, are you excited for the new year?
Yeah. Hey, are you familiar with the personal injury attorney Glenn Lerner?
I don't think so.
Glenn Lerner is the lawyer for you. Call 2222222. You never heard that one?
I haven't heard that one at all. No.
Oh man, it's a classic.
Is that a national thing?
He is kind of a national type. I think he's based out of Las Vegas, and he just like works out all day. He's all shredded, and then he has these catchy, call 2222222. That's what I always think of with all the twos.
Well, I got to get down on that then. Glenn Lerner is something I need to be exposed to immediately. I'm going to look this up after the show. For those of you that are watching live, you can look it up on your own time. But right now, we're going to talk prospects. It's a Prospect Power Half Hour. Welcome in. Phil Govier, as always. Follow Phil on Twitter at Phil of Sports, PHIL. And me, the Plausible Podcast, 2Ls Tuesdays.
Utah, give me 2.
So, Phil, today we're going to talk about something different. We did some AL East breakdowns of the teams, but then I thought, we already know who the big 3 usually are. Let's go beyond the top 3 and let's take it to the next level. Who are going to be the next big 3 for the teams we're talking about going forward? Let's give the people something unique and different. Otherwise, you get your prospect information anywhere, right?
Yeah. I've tried to go pretty deep cuts on these guys. So not even that I know with any amount of certainty that they will be the next top 3, but they could be the next top 3 because they're exciting.
Exactly. It's all about what we know and what you know based on your experiential knowledge and your wisdom as a prospects guru, and you're going to give it to us because we trust you. There's no doubt about it. Marty says best half hour of talk in prospects. Yeah, well, that's a very specific, genre we have here. The best half hour in the biz. Thank you, Marty. We love you.
I'm going on with Marty and Christian tomorrow to talk about Astros.
All right. Hell yeah.
Prospects. Yeah.
Woohoo! That's fantastic. Well, don't miss that. I will definitely always push the Triple Play Fantasy channel in general on YouTube. And you can check out Marty and Christian's work. Christian has guested for Phil on this show before. Christian Crespo's a follow. Marty Tallman's a follow. Follow these people. And then check Phil out on their show when they talk about the Houston Astros.
It's going to be fun.
Well, Marty can't wait, Phil. Look at that. He literally says it right there. Yeah. All right, so we're talking AL Central. If you guys have questions in the meantime about anything in particular, you're always welcome to just throw them at us. We're always ready to share, learn, and grow with you on the Palazzo Podcast Prospect Power Half Hour. We don't want to limit the talk just to the Central, but that's what we're going to focus on if you guys have nothing else to share with us, because we got to be prepared. I wanted to mention real quick, I got this in the mail. I didn't know I was going to get this. It's the Baseball HQ Minor League Baseball analyst.
Yeah.
What do you think of this? Do you have any immediate questions or comments on this?
I'm trying to think. I haven't probably read it in 3-4 years. I usually get the forecaster every 2-3 years just for the research. I got one over here, actually.
Definitely got my forecaster over here. I got that one about a month ago, and then I got this, and I started going through it, and I really enjoyed it. There it is. Look at that.
Charlie Blackman. But this is all about this front section here, with all the research and stuff. So I try to get it every few years just so I can reread the research and see if there's any new research in the front section. Love it. So yeah, we're a forecaster fan for sure. I haven't got the minor league one in some time, but I do remember they kind of have a different grading system, so that's not like a 20/80 thing, and this dude's a 55 and blip blip. It's more of a ABC, right? 1 to 10 ABC. Yeah,
that is exactly what it is.
Yeah,
it's ranked from 9s down to 7s, and then there's also letters from A, B, C, D, E with interesting thing. I've never got this before, and I had the chance. Chris Blessing seemed to do the bulk of the work here on this. This is like his thing, and he was at First Pitch, and I never got to talk to him once. It was just an example of how First Pitch needs, I think, is a positive feedback here, a little bit constructive feedback. to give opportunities to people who are newbies or newcomers who don't know what the hell they're doing. Even like me, even though I've been doing a podcast, I didn't know what the hell's going on half the time. To expose ourselves to these people. They have panels and stuff, but I'd like to have the chance to chat with them more. And maybe that's my fault too. Maybe I didn't go up to him. I don't know what Chris Blessing even looks like. I have no idea. I think I saw him talk on a panel on Sunday morning. I believe it was him. And I'm like, oh, that's who Chris Blessing is. I saw him talk about a few prospects. So that's about as close as I got. Maybe that's all I deserve. Maybe he wants to be alone. I don't know.
Chris has been the prospects guy at Baseball HQ for some time now, I think. I don't even know, 4 or 5 years at least. And Chris, I think, would love to talk to you about it. He's always seemed very open to anybody that's got questions. I know he's always with me. Wrote a little something for Baseball Farm a couple years ago for the first year player draft guide. So I know he'd be open to talking to anybody about it. Sometimes, like you say, it's just a matter of finding the time.
That's true. That's a great point. And those things are, people coming at you. I get it. So I'm not saying, hey, what about me? Wah. That's not what I'm saying here whatsoever. I want that to be clear. Jasper says, I weld all day, every day. Reading is out of the question most evenings. Wow.
He's done using his eyes for the day.
So, because he's really focusing with that welder.
After welding all day, I would think. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's interesting. I'll tell you this. This really helped me out with we've talked about first-year player draft and some players, but I got a deeper understanding because I was able to sit down and just read a lot of this stuff and look at individual opinions, get a different take too. I love Phil's take, and I trust Phil until the end of time, bar none, hands down. But it's also good to see what other people are saying and what they think of players. So I may or may not have used this in our current Dynasty draft to draft a few players, but if you look at it, you may have noticed
sneaky.
Yeah, I definitely did that. So.
Sneaky Pete over there.
Yeah, it's very sneaky, sir. Anyways, yeah, so that was cool. It was just a total surprise. I didn't know I would get that, and the gifts just keep on coming in the mail.
Yeah, very cool.
All right, so let's talk AL Central, the next big three, not the three you need to know. And by the way, on the graphic there I created, I'm just curious, Phil, because the thumbnail for our YouTube show today, I put on Dylan Dingler and Mr. Sabato, Aaron Sabato of the Twins.
Yeah. Yes.
And Mr. Espino of the Cleveland Guardians. I just randomly put those three on there. I don't know if they're going to make our list or not. So
I think I didn't get through the Twins research, so I got a little sidetracked this afternoon. But Dingler, I think, I really don't have him in the current top three or the next top three for the Tigers.
Okay. All right.
Because I think while he could be up in the next, I don't know, year and a half.
Go Tigers.
And I think he could be a good player. I just don't know that he'll be a top three prospect, impact guy.
Okay.
Sabato is very interesting. If you watch him play, so Sabato was actually, I think he's from New Jersey, I want to say, and he was actually the prep shortstop of the year, his year in prep class. Now, if you see him now, you'd be shocked that he played shortstop because he's a large human. So he's a great athlete, really hit
6'2", 230.
Yeah. I mean, you'd be shocked that he played shortstop just looking at him now. And I remember when he was at North Carolina putting up really good power, exit velocity numbers, because if you look, I think North Carolina has a analytics Twitter feed. So whoever does the analytics for North Carolina, it's like the Diamond Heels analytics or something like that, will post exit velocities and stuff for the hitters, which is cool. So I remember him having eye-popping ones back in college. He can really hit. So Sabato could be on there for sure. And then I think Espino is the number one prospect in the Cleveland system right now, which might be a little off the wall, but I think he's their best baseball prospect in their system right now.
Wow, that's impressive. Damn! You heard it here first, folks. That's live. We didn't even ask for that. That was a bonus. All right, so who you want to start with, Phil? Which team you want to start with? And let's go from 3 to 1. We always like to count down.
Let's travel to Detroit. No, let's travel to Cleveland. Let's go to Cleveland first, since we're talking about Espino.
Beautiful Cleveland.
All right, so I have the current top three. Number 3, Tyler Freeman, who I think some pubs probably are higher on than me. I think he'll be a fine player. I just don't see him being an impact bat. He's another one of these guys that the power's going to develop, and it just hasn't developed yet. But he's a very nice hitter, at least for batting average for your dynasty leagues. So Tyler Freeman 3, George Valera number 2. Valera is a guy I really do like. Had excellent numbers last year. The behind the scenes stuff that I look at, like the estimated barrels and ex-Woba, look fantastic. He's probably a corner outfielder, but he can really hit. And then number 1, like I said, was Espino. I think he's going to be a very good starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. Very excited for him. So I grabbed him in some league. Now I can't even remember which one I have him in. That's when you know you're in too many. So those are what I would say are my top 3 right now. So I think some blend of those guys are the consensus top 3. So if you get into the next top 3, here's 3 guys that I like for Cleveland in their system now that could be on this list next year. Logan T Allen is my number 1.
Ooh.
Now with Cleveland, you have to be careful to parse your Logan Allens because they have 2 left-handed Logan Allens in the system. Logan's Allen. So this is Logan T Allen. He made it up to AA last year. He was a second rounder in 2020, left-hander. And so I have a ERA estimator I like to use, which all it does is take 3 skills for pitchers. I think I've talked about it on the show before. Strikeout percentage, walk percentage, ground ball percentage. So those are the only 3 skills that go into it. But those are 3 things that pitchers probably have the most control over, arguably. And they also get, what's the word? I guess, Rocchio. That's a good, sorry, I'm doing 2 things at once. Anthony said Rocchio at 4. Yeah, I think Rocchio could be top 3 in a lot of outlets too. And I don't have a problem, like Matthew said, preferring him to Freeman. Totally cool with that. And he could be a guy that would be in the top 3. He's probably a very good bet to be in the top 3 next year.
Interesting.
So Rocchio's nice. The Cleveland's kind of weird because they're very deep. They don't maybe have any huge studs, but they have like 20 guys that could contribute. So they're super deep.
That sounds like them. That definitely sounds like them to me.
Yeah. Anyway, so back to Logan Allen. So anyway, his ERA estimator, if you just look at strikeouts, walks, and ground balls, is 3.07 using my estimator last year. Made it up to AA. If you watch him pitch, he's really deceptive. You can tell that hitters are having a hard time picking him up when you watch the video because they're either late or the swings are uncomfortable. But even just watching how he presents himself, it's a lot of back to the hitter until he snaps the pitch off, and he's got a lower arm slot to go along with it too. So it's a tough look, especially for left-handers. But I saw even right-handers having a hard time picking him up. His command's really nice. His control's great. He throws a lot of strikes. He has a fastball, changeup, slider, and they're all at least average or above average pitches. So I think the next step for him would be maybe adding velocity to the fastball. But Cleveland has done this. If we remember Shane Bieber, he was not a totally unlike Logan Allen. And then when he got to the majors, he added, a couple ticks on the fastball. And then when you add to, 95, 96, everything's playing up. So he's very exciting. I would definitely put him in the top 3. I think he's got a very good chance of being top 3 guy next year. My next pick's John Kensey Noel, who I think has gotten a lot of pub in the prospects world. So John Kensey's exciting. Eye-popping thing for me was that his estimated barrel rate in low A last year was 16.8%, which is huge. Huge. I mean, that's a great barrel rate. So
wow.
And he's a teenager. And he did it in full season ball as a teenager. And
is it a fluke though?
What's that?
Is it a fluke though?
No, I don't think so. Another thing that you look at when you're looking at a player's power is where is he hitting his home runs? And based on where he hits his home runs, you can kind of estimate like what his power grade would be. This isn't my idea. This is an idea I stole out of the Future Value book that Longenhagen and McDaniel wrote, the Fangraphs guys. And they stole the idea, I believe, from Billy Epler, where Billy Epler actually had a picture, and a pull side is a 40, power gap is a 45, straightaway center is a 60, something like that. Anyway, you want to look for guys that have opposite field power. And if you watch Noel, he has easy opposite field power. Like, no problem taking a fastball, right-handed hitter, to the right center field gap. No problem at all.
Wow.
So I think the power is absolutely legit.
I'm really fascinated by this Billy Epler story, though. I want to hear more about.
Yeah,
that
I'll show you the
another
picture.
time.
I'll share it with you. So it's great. I use it all the time.
Okay, that's good to know.
The only thing about Noel that I don't know if concern's the right word, but just something I would watch for is he's got a very unorthodox swing and setup, which can sometimes work for you too in your favor. I don't know if it's something pitchers are going to be able to exploit somehow, like fastballs in type of thing. If you watch him swing, it's I'm not going to recreate it on the show, but it is a very kind of unorthodox, strange sort of setup. He's almost starting his swing before the pitch happens, if that makes sense.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to know. These are the things you don't see on paper, so we want to know these things.
So John Kensey would be another pick that I think could be a top 3 for Cleveland. And then my last guy is Alexfree Planez. He was another teenager that made it to full season ball last year. Great physical specimen. Watch the video. The kid looks like an athlete. Started 43 games for the Cleveland's low A club last year in center field. So usually when you're going to watch, if you're going to watch a minor league team, this is a Bill James thing that I've stolen from Bill James. You want to pay attention to the guy that's hitting cleanup, the guy that's leading off, the guy that's hitting second, and then you pay attention to the shortstop, center fielder, the catcher, like if you're looking at hitters. And that as a kind of a filter on its own, because those are usually where the best players are going to play.
Yep.
So he's starting center fielder as a teenager for the low A club. Great athlete. His estimated barrel rate was good, 11.5%. Makes some loud contact. So I think there's a lot of physical tools that could spring him up. I think he whiffs like crazy right now. His swinging strike rate was 20.3%, which is rough. That's not playable in major leagues. So that's something he'll have to figure out if he's going to get into the top 3 or get into the major league level, really. But I still really like his chances, and I think he's an exciting prospect.
I will share this with you real quickly because I think this is a fun comparison. Not that this is the Chris Blessing show, but according to Mr. Blessing, the top prospects by organization in this book, Rockio's number 1, Valera number 2, Spino number 3, Freeman number 4. Gavin Williams makes the 5th spot here. And Logan T Allen, as you described. So a lot of similarities here. And really the only difference I see is Williams, who's not in this top 6 at all, right?
Yeah, Williams was a draft pick out of East Carolina, I want to say. I'm going off the top of my head.
That's amazing.
Smaller school, though, not a major program. But a lot of people really liked him going into the draft. I know that. I don't know a lot about him. I would definitely prefer Logan T Allen, if for no other reason than he made.
You got it. East Carolina, by the way.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, East Carolina. Logan T Allen made Double-A last year and pitched really well in Double-A last year. So he's at least a year ahead of Williams at this point. I would definitely have him ranked higher on my list.
All right. That's outstanding. This is some of the best stuff we've ever done on the show, hands down already. I'm already really digging this segment. Great job, Phil. That's the Cleveland Guardians' next big 3. How about you want to do Tigers next?
Let's go to Detroit.
Go Tigers.
That's right. Hey. Detroit basketball.
Michael, how do you say that? How do you say that town?
Detroit?
Yeah. Do you say Detroit? Yeah, you don't say Detroit, right?
No, I say Detroit.
Yeah. Now my grandpa was Canadian, and the Canadians say it a little bit like, I don't know if you know the song "The Wreck" of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Detroit, of course.
Detroit. That's how my grandpa used to say it. Detroit.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was like a common thing.
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay. That's funny.
So look, let's go to the D. I think their top 3 for me looks pretty set. I have it's 3-1. Jackson Jobe number 3. Really big ceiling there, so that's exciting for Tigers fans. I think absolutely. Riley Green number 2. Spencer Torkelson number 1. I think we've talked about it on the show before. Those guys can flip based on your preference, and if it's fantasy versus real life, I think they're both going to be great. They're both going to hit. So, Detroit's got a really nice top 3 right now.
Oh, it's incredible. Riley Green is I saw Eric Cross is releasing his updated prospect rankings, and now Riley Green's his top 5 overall. So that's exciting. And you just nailed it verbatim. That's exactly what is in this book, top 3 wise. So it seems to be a general consensus. Job has moved in with the top 2 hitting studs as their 3 best prospects.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe like Dingler is 4. I'm not sure. But anyway, let's look at the next top 3. And I think I did a little digging here. The Royals ones, I really did some digging. But all right, it's Tigers' next top 3. The first guy that stood out to me is Wilmer Flores. And I know you're thinking of, Wilmer Flores. I know Wilmer Flores. He plays for the Giants.
Yeah.
He played for the Giants last year. This is his brother, Wilmer Flores.
Yeah. All right. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What a find.
This is his younger brother. He's Venezuelan. Detroit signed him. Sorry, they didn't sign him as an international free agent signing. That's wrong. He went to like a JUCO in Arizona or something. And they drafted him from there. Wilmer was really nice last year. He was 20 years old, made 11 starts in full season ball, 53 innings. I'm drawing a blank on they switched the Lakeland. Lakeland is their full season. Low A team now, right? Not West Michigan. Yeah. So, we talked about KGB ERA earlier, strikeout, walk, ground ball, ERA, basically. 2.95 was his last year, which is sub 3 is excellent. So skills wise and skills that pitchers can control, he was really, really good last year. So I don't know. xWOBA allowed was only 247 against, so he wasn't getting hit very hard either. I think Wilmer Flores is a guy that could jump this year for sure. I don't know if he'll jump to the top 3, but I was feeling a little cheeky. So
I want to jump in and give our old pal Helmut, who's always been a very loyal listener, dedicator, and watcher of the Palazzo Podcast Prospects Power Half Hour. Follow us on Twitter, Palazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah, give me 2.
We already talked about Espino, but what about this last part? Is there reliever risk, or will Espino of the Guardians stick as a starter?
I think he's a starter. I think reliever risk, depending on who's talking on it, can mean very different things for different people. For me, a big reliever risk thing is if you only have 2 pitches. So, but that's kind of going away a bit in modern baseball. But generally, you're not going to be a starting pitcher if you can't turn the order over at least twice or 3 times, right? And you usually can't do that with 2 pitches, especially against opposite-handed batters. But Espino, I think, throws 2 kinds of breakers. The fastball is extremely good. He throws a changeup too. And then the other thing that people look at for reliever risk is delivery. But I think it means different things to different people. Like some people will say he's got a reliever risk based on his delivery being like unorthodox or something, like he's going to hurt himself. So for me, if you're looking at Espino's athleticism, I don't see him having any problem throwing innings. Super flexible, really, really, like if you're putting A through F scale athlete grade on Espino, you might give him an A for athleticism. So in my mind, he's a starter. Threw a lot of innings.
Okay. Well, there you go, Helmut. Just for you, we know you're a dedicated lover of the Palazzo Podcast Prospects Power Half Hour, so we did that for you. Thank you very much. Let's go back to the Tigers now. You gave us Wilmer Flores. Who's next?
Wilmer. So next, I looked at Colt Keith, right?
Ooh,
so
what a name.
Colt Keith was a prep selection that the Tigers made in 2020. And if you remember, the 2020 draft was only 5 rounds. This was the COVID draft. So he was their 5th round pick. But the teams really, I think, took a lot of stabs at players in that 5th round that year that could turn out to be really good players. Colt Keith, I put well-built third baseman. He does not look his age. He looks like I would say there's not a lot of projection left, but he looks like a MLB player now physically, which is exciting because he's a young guy. I have a stat where basically it takes his overall offensive production, like WOBA or something, but puts it on the same scale as batting average, right? So he was a 277 hitter by that metric, which is good. 275 is above average. So he was above average in full season last year. Athletic, Some power could come just based on his build, I think. I think he should be able to play third base. So Colt Keith would be a guy I'm watching for the Tigers to take a leap this year. And then my last Tigers guy was Ty Madden. So he was their draft pick out of Texas last year, who at one point had hype to be like a top 15 pick in the draft. So the Tigers really got 2 first-rounders last year, I think. They had a nice draft. Madden might have the reliever risk like Helmet brought up. So he might just be a 2-pitch guy. But if you have 2 really good pitches like he does, sometimes you can start, sometimes you can be a bulk guy, or you be a closer. So good value. The fastball is really good. He touched 100 last year with the fastball. And the slider's really good too. Tight, dirty, good spinning slider that makes people look foolish.
Ooh. What's up, fellas? Ryan Murphy was a 5th rounder from that class too.
Oh, yeah.
By the way.
Yeah. Hey, Kyle, how's it going? Yeah,
Hi,
Ryan in the Giant system had a great year last year. Total breakout.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Total breakout. Anthony wants to know, is all the info I need for minor league baseball available at RotoFanatic? Well, RotoFanatic is a site that we have that does exist. It's true. That's a fact. But minor league wise, we have prospect information that Phil used to do. Phil's not doing that. The only place you're going to find Phil's stuff basically is here. This is it. This podcast directly. And
Tuesdays
Michael
at 5
Richards.
live.
Yeah, Michael Richards is still doing some stuff for us too on divisional prospect breakdowns. You can check that out at rotofanatic.com, I believe. So, and Phil, your old stuff's on there still, I assume, too.
Yeah, I would think so. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is. We're running out of time, so we're going to do one more team real quick and call it a day. Just so happens it works out perfectly. We're going to do the Kansas City Royals. Sorry, Jasper, no White Sox for you today. You're going to have to come back for part 2 next week. But we all know, Jasper, that you'll be here next week, so not really worried about that. So, who are the current top 3 for the Royals?
Current top 3. Number 3, I've got Nick Pratto. Number 2, MJ Melendez, catcher, who should be up catching some this year as they work him in, and he eventually probably pushes Salvador Perez off the catching spot for the team. And then number 1 is Bobby Witt Jr. I don't think there's any kind of debate about that. The other prospect, Asa Lacy, is another. Some outlets probably have him top 3 guy. He has not had a great start to his pro career yet, but he was very highly touted as a college pitcher. So Asa Lacy's another guy and he should be up soon. So he's another top 3-ish guy to watch.
But okay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, go for it.
No, I mean, you are going to fill out your list here with the next top 3.
Yeah, these guys.
But you didn't technically have Lacy in your top 3 so far.
No, yeah.
But you're admitting that other areas would. Yeah.
These guys are deep. All right. So the first guy I dug out is Luinder Avila. Okay. He's a teenager, but he did get out of the complex last summer and make 6 starts in full season ball for Kansas City. He's very raw. I watched a little bit of his film in that he's releasing the ball and it's not sure where it's going to go. But he also has a lot of movement on all his stuff. His ground ball rate was 57% in full season ball last year because people were just driving the ball into the ground. He didn't allow a home run. He's 6'3". He's got really nice balance on the hill. He has very good body control. So I think there's a chance that the command or control could come along with. He doesn't walk a lot of guys either. So he knows where the strike zone's at. His pitches just have a lot of movement. So they're diving all over the place. You watch it, it's actually kind of crazy. So, but I think he's pretty deep. But check out Luinder. Okay. Luinder Avila. The next guy I'm going to bring up is Daryl Collins. And Daryl Collins is a honk baller. Do you know what a honk baller is?
He crushes it. It makes a honking sound.
Honk ball is what the Dutch word for baseball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he's a honk ball player.
He's a honk baller. He's Dutch. He was on the Dutch under 18 team and had kind of a breakout. Another kid that's very athletic. Another teenager that reached full season ball last year. Left-hander. He's got a really nice swing. He hasn't hit for a lot of power yet, but it's there. You can see it if you watch some home runs he's hit. It almost looks like it comes easy to him, the power. And I really like the swing. So Daryl Collins had a 370 estimated ex-Woba last year too. So that definitely caught my eye. And then the third guy that I really liked that I looked at is a catching prospect named Carter Jensen. So Carter Jensen was the Royals' 3rd round draft pick in 2021. And he's very intriguing because he was only 17 until July 3rd of last year. So he's super young. He didn't turn 18 until July 3rd. Played at the complex all summer against guys that are recent draft picks, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old. And more than held his own. Had a 340 estimated ex-Woba. Very exciting. And his swing's beautiful. Left-handed swing with excellent extension. Not Ken Griffey Jr., but Griffey-esque extension on that left-handed swing is. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's so young. There's so much development that can happen.
Him at the road here, closing with Kyle here. Melendez power is crazy. Do you think they'll DH him to get his bat into the lineup sooner?
Yep. Yeah, I think DH will be kind of a rotating spot for them to give Salvi and Melendez rest. So I think it makes a lot of sense. And that'll be for the next several years probably. Which for us fantasy players is totally fine. He just needs to catch enough games to be eligible there.
Yeah, that's the key right there. The big mystery. Will that happen? And there you go. That's it. We did not get to finish the AL Central today, but we're 3/4 of the way done. We'll finish the rest next week, get into some other stuff. A half hour or less. We keep it real. We don't really go over. We're at 32 minutes. We're already pushing ourselves to the limit. We're over the tilt.
Exhausted.
We're out of control here. Oh, my God. We thank you guys for joining us. We had a really great turnout today. Outstanding. It looks like people are getting more baseball fever out there.
We're getting close.
Maybe a deal gets done. Maybe it happens. Maybe
every day.
Yeah. Who knows? Make sure you follow Phil of Sports on Twitter. PHIL of Sports. MJ Govier. Plausible Podcast. 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah. Give me
we
2.
got a new episode, full episode coming up Thursday. We're going to be having a new rebranding, a relaunch, a new beginning, a rebirth, if you will, some new additions, all kinds of stuff. We'll fill you on that later. So make sure, in the meantime, you guys keep on rocking, play some Dynasty, make some trades, have some drafts. We thank you for your time.